Very measured. Craig McRae, as you'd expect, there wouldn't be a whole heap of panic. You know, he goes and shakes hands with all the journalists.
He speaks well all the time. You know what I like? I like how he's always positive. The only time he started to burr up a little bit was when people wanted to talk about what he didn't have. He said, we don't talk about that. It's what we do have and what we can do with what we have. Yeah. And they found a way to give themselves a chance to win that game.
They did.
Don't forget who wasn't there, with the people that were there. And I think they take great confidence out of that. Again, that you're in a hopeless position and everyone's worried about, players that are missing and what's not going right. And you find a way to turn it around, hit the front and have a chance to win.
So, Geordie, he's got an interesting conundrum with Josh Dacos, and we'll have a look at his package now. He was extraordinary when he went into the middle. So, as you heard with Craig, Nick was a bit off, so throw Josh in. He ends up having the highest rated game of his career. When do you turn it? What stage do you
in the time of need, yeah.
Because that half of footies is, that's as devastating a half from the midfield as you're probably going to see. He had 9 score involvements, didn't it?
Yeah, when you need him, but I think, and they would have always known this, that he's got the ability to play further up the ground. They've needed him at half back to try and generate some ball movement. But I think what I liked about him is when he went into that midfield, the other midfielders recognised why he was in there and the danger that he possesses, and quite often they would either block for him or create space for him to be able to be on the move. And some of those ball, the kicks with sort of out of half back where he looks to the open side, that's a risky kick, but he knows he's got the confidence to do that. This kick inside forward 50 was all about momentum, not getting sucked over to the contest, and this is what I'm talking about. Hey, let's give Josh Dacos a lane towards goal and really make the defenders panic. And on the back of that, he was able to scrape one through. So I loved his movement. I think McRae and the coaching staff know that this is a position where they can go to in time of need.
The interesting part, though, is what do you lose when he leaves half back? Because he's been so good and so consistent for them at half back and the rebound. This is the second half. That's when he moved into the middle of the ground. But Dan Houston hasn't quite given them what they probably thought they were going to get at half-back, which makes him even more important there.
So my answer to that would be it's much harder doing that in the middle of the ground. Any plonker can do it off half-back.
And then my counter-argument would be, but we've got more players capable of doing that in the middle than we have off half-back.
Yeah, you and I'd have to be your understudy because you're the main man.
Oh, shut up.
We're building a team. I can find you 40 half-back flankers that can get plenty of footy off the half-back line. I'm not finding too many that can do that.
There's a few around.
They're in a good position. Yep. Hey, what happened to the sunblock, by the way? Because
I think they put on just the factor 8 instead of the factor 50. It wore off very, very quickly because the Pies in the first half could not transition the ball. It was horrendous. Have a look at that. It went from 14% to 50%.
Yeah.
Now that's beyond anyone's wildest dreams. 1 out of every 2 going all the way to the other end of the ground. It was extraordinary stuff.
So first half to second half and then territory as a result. You get to look at that and you go, well, that's been turned on its head as well. So the Gold Coast Suns plus 11 inside 50s in the first 45 minutes, and then for the last hour and a bit, it just lived in Collingwood's half of the ground because of the way they moved the footy.
But we spoke about Collingwood,
well, you did,
and we said they don't accept things when it's not going. To
give you credit,
and most teams can often get themselves in trouble. You can't dig your way out of it, Louis. They just don't accept it.
You said
the bar's that high.
You did say at half time that this senior group wouldn't just say, oh well, it's one of those nights, and they had the excuse. They had the ready-made excuse for them, the flu and the virus and all that sort of stuff, and we would have walked away going, oh well, no great panic. They might have been crooked than we thought. But they did. They dug in, and which again gives even more credit to the win for the Gold Coast Suns.